is now only a few months away. We're talking about the 75th annual Primetime Emmy Award nominations. Those were released yesterday afternoon, and the announcement did not come without a few snubs, of course, and some surprises, as always. But that's the only thing making this year's event one for the books.
Oh no. The ongoing writer strike and looming actor strike have dampened the usual excitement over the annual award show. The National Board plans to meet later today to vote on a strike order, but with no new deals set in place, what does this mean for actors, writers, and fans who were set to tune in for this year's event?
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. We've been following it closely all morning. So there's a lot to discuss. So joining us this morning to break it all down for us is Rotten Tomatoes Awards editor Jacqueline Coley. Good morning, welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I hope your foot's okay.
I know.
Yeah, I will live.
She's winning an Emmy Award for best performance in a lifestyle show.
Yeah, well, if I might be down a toe, but I should hopefully be up an award. But thank you for asking. I appreciate your concern.
I'm so sorry. Okay, so Jacqueline, what's happening with the writer's strike, and how could it affect this year's show? Because we saw what happened with the Tony Awards. It was hostless, and you know, folks kind of just went from bit to bit. What do you think is going to happen here?
I think the biggest thing right now is that the ceremony is likely to move. That has been the only official word that we've gotten from the Television Academy. The September sort of showcase of the Emmy Awards is typically the time of year that they do it, and they're saying that they're likely to push it to November, maybe even to January. But as far as what it affects, as far as the nominees, there's nothing to say for this year, but next year there likely will be a gully as all of these productions have been shut down for a certain amount of time, and so we might see a whole different crop of films that are even eligible as some of these shows get pushed into 2025 and later.
Right. Gosh, that's right. And then that's a writer's strike. What about the actor's strike?
I mean,
we know
this is newer, but
yeah, it's looming.
Yeah, this one today, this really shuts down all of Hollywood effective this morning. And after today, there will be no press promotions. Last night, we had the Oppenheimer premiere in London. That would probably be one of the last big premieres to sort of happen until they can work out a deal with the AMTP. But you can head on over. They've been doing a lot of sort of reporting on this. I think for folks right now, this one they will see immediately. This will be, stars will not be on talk shows. They will not be on morning shows. And you'll really see that difference.
That's bad news for us.
I was going to say, it's going to be pretty lonely over here on this couch. Okay, so let's get into the fun stuff.
Yes.
And let's talk about which shows are leading the nominations this year.
Well, first of all, we have HBO sort of dominating the nominations, leading nominations again for 2 years in a row. And they're big shows of Succession, The Last of Us, and White Lotus really led nominations. Also, though, Disney Plus had a lot to sort of like, I think, celebrate as well on their side, but HBO is very much the dominant force right now in television, with also House of the Dragon. I mean, Succession with all 3 lead actors, first time in history that has ever happened that you've had 3 lead actors be nominated for the same drama series. It's going to be a very competitive race for those 3, Jeremy Strong and Jeremy Strong, Kieran Culkin, and then Logan Roy himself.
Logan Roy, yes.
Yeah, Brian Cox.
Brian Cox. Oh my gosh, I did not realize it was the first time in history.
Yeah. HBO or Max, whatever
Max
it's called now.
Exactly. HBO and Max together.
Right.
Yeah. The 2 separate. Yeah.
So when we write our hit television show, we got to go to the good folks.
They're the first ones we shop it around to.
Okay, we were shocked over this. One of the biggest surprises was Vanderpump Rules. Is this
not surprising for me.
We were going to ask you, like, how are you feeling about this, your reaction, and did you keep up with the Scandival drama? And your thoughts, please.
I did. I was glued in, mostly through TikTok, if I have to say, but I was like checking up everywhere to see what was happening with Scandival, seeing all of the Call Daryl. And I actually spoke to some of the folks at Vanderpump Rules recently about this. And they kind of knew, I think. They knew that this was going to be a very definitive year for them. I mean, it was the most talked about reality show. And like with Emmys, that is a huge part of it. And you can't say it was not entertaining, although obviously very, very tragic and emotional, but that's what we live for. That's what we live for.
Exactly.
But then what does this Emmy Award do for them as people? Do they suddenly get contracts with brands?
I mean, shows?
Right. How does you know.
Yeah, so somebody like Ariana Mannix has already proven that if you are strategic and smart, you can really capitalize on this. She's done a ton of brand deals for folks like Duracell. She's also going to be on Dancing with the Stars, and
that's right.
yeah, you will really see her star start to rise. And I've also seen something similar for people like Lala that are part of the show. But you know, as they say in reality TV, villains, there is something called bad press. Somebody like Tom Sandoval and maybe even Tom Schwartz, they're trying to figure out a way to maybe push the capitalization a different way, as it could maybe negatively affect some of their other brands, bars, and other things that they're doing. But overall, everybody involved in this is better off than they were at the beginning of it. That's kind of the weird thing about reality TV.
I was just gonna say, leave it to reality television to put us in a situation like this. Okay, outstanding comedy series. There are a lot of top contenders here, so let's talk about who was nominated and if we have any predictions on a winner.
Look at this.
Well, I will say Abbott Elementary and The Bear, these are two shows and Ted Lasso, these are shows that folks have been loving since they came out, and they've sort of been dominant forces to begin with. The big surprise in the comedy category, however, was Jury Duty and also Wednesday. Both of those shows are rated a little bit lower on our tomato meter, Wednesday at 71% and Jury Duty at 76%. But the Jury Duty was, again, that surprise hit that got everybody talking. We also have staple shows like Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which has been nominated every year that it's been on. Also, Only Murders, Less in the Building. But I think most folks agree that Abbott Elementary is likely going to be the top dog this time around. But look out for The Bear. Look out for The Bear, though, because that is a show that has really sort of captured the attention of audiences this year since it came back recently with its second season. It'll be fresh in the minds of voters, and everybody wants to say yes, chef, to Mr. Jeremy Allen White.
Yes, chef. Listen.
I was shocked that it was in the comedy category, because there are a couple of episodes that are super heavy and not funny at all.
And that's a reflection of the Television Academy. The lines of comedy get sort of blurred. If you looked at the last season of Barry, you will very much say that the last seasons of that one is very blurred. But also the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Let's remember, she's doing comedy on stage, but outside of the stage, this is very dramatic things. It's her divorce. It's her dealing with being a woman at that time frame. And so they definitely deal with serious things as well.
Well, we recently had actually Henry Winkler from Barry, obviously one of the stars on our show, so we're rooting for him. We're also rooting for one William Stanford Davis, a.k.a. Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Johnson.
The janitor on Abbott Elementary. I mean...
I hope that's not the last time we ever have them on the show with the looming strike.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I hope you get them back. But both of those shows, I think, are going to have a lot. Both those shows had multiple nominations. I mean, Abbott had Tyler James Williams, as well as... three of the stars, Janelle James, Cheryl Lee Ralph, and also, of course, creator and writer Quinta Brunson.
Quinta Brunson, who can do no wrong.
She's taken over the world,
I worship at the altar of Quinta Brunson. So, shocked to find out there were 38 first-time nominees across the category. Is that a lot? It feels like a lot to me, but you're the expert. Is that a lot or no?
Is a very record-breaking year for first-time nominees, especially also for representation. I mean, you have the category of Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series. 4 of the nominees are African-American, with A.O., Janelle James, Cheryl Lee Ralph, and Jessica Williams. You also have new first-time nominees making sort of history in their various categories. Somebody like Phil Dunster, he was the very first time getting nominated for Ted Lasso. It really is, and again, a show like Jury Duty having a first-time nomination. It really has been one where they've been able to.
And let's not forget my two Latinos,
Jenna
Ortega and Pedro Pascal. Very happy for
Absolutely
them.
making history. In fact, the last time there was an actor nominated in a drama series, he of course was nominated for his work on The Last of Us. It was actually Jimmy Smits in 1999 for NYPD Blue. And Jenna Ortega joined some very illustrious categories for Best Lead Actress. It is Rita Moreno and America Ferrera. I mean, she was already cementing herself not only as a talented actress of the next generation, but making history with everything she's doing.
Oh God, I'm
Love
obsessed
Wednesday
with her.
Addams.
I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. I'm obsessed with Jenna Ortega and that show. So good.
Yes.
All right, so The Last of Us, and speaking of these, of Papi Pascal, they nabbed some pretty big nominations, including fan favorite actor Kayvon, Montreal Woodard.
Yes, Kayvon. This is such a great moment.
And this
10 years old, 10 years old. He's going to be the first deaf actor to be nominated for any performance in a comedy, limited series, or drama. He also is one of the youngest nominees at 10 years old. And if you saw a little bit of his social medias yesterday, you will really see just how much the cast, Bella Ramsey, who also made history as a non-binary actor, to be nominated in the actress category for her work on The Last of Us, was just so happy, because as happy as they are for their own nominations, they're more happy that, again, this is somebody who, they beat out somebody like Harrison Ford, who got snubbed yesterday, but Kayvon got his nom, so I'm very excited for him.
Kayvon was just in one episode. I mean, the power of what we are watching on the small screen. That kid had one episode. That episode was so moving, so like brought me to tears. I wanted him back.
I'm in
oh my
tears
gosh.
just like processing what this means for him, his age, his race, he's deaf. Like
for the community, all the communities that he represents.
Yes. Let's get him on the show when,
please,
things are better.
Also, my president, Barack Obama, he received a nomination for narration.
His second
time.
Second nomination, yeah. I will say his production company, I believe Higher Ground, I believe is what it's called. They've done a series of productions, and Crip Camp was one that they did a few years ago, a documentary about disabled individuals. And yeah, I think he is really showing that his end of the year list, it's his passion for movies and television is not just for that. He lives and breathes it and tries to still do great work within sort of the realm of creating things as well.
So he's in good company.
I mean, he's up against the voice of God.
Yeah, can we see that? Can we see that graphic again? He's with Angela Bassett, Pedro Pascal,
Morgan Freeman. Hello.
What are his chances? What are Barack Obama's chances of winning?
I will say the internet's boyfriend, Mr. Pedro Pascal, is going to be a hard one to beat, but it really does just depend. When you get into these later nominations, sometimes it is about name recognition, but these are 4 names that are pretty recognizable.
I was just going to say, we throw the term heavy hitters around, I think, honestly, too frequently, but those are like textbook.
They're the pantheon.
Heavy hitters. Angela Bassett,
that's the
Morgan
Mount
Freeman,
Rushmore.
Barack Obama, our former president, and Pedro Pascal.
You know who I'm rooting for.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Are you going to have a tough time?
I'm rooting for all the Latinos.
Okay.
I'm rooting for Pedro. I'm rooting for Pedro. Jacqueline Coley, thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
Thank you all for having me.
That's right. The 75th annual Primetime Emmys are set to air Monday, September 18th on Fox, but you heard the woman.
We shall see.
It may get pushed.